Just such a unique thing. I'm really hopeful at some point we're gonna get more. I think we're in the age where like so much stuff is getting brought back, or like, oh, we did 4 seasons, but let's do a movie or something like that. I think that it's possible.
Anyways, thank you for taking the time today. I appreciate
Of
it.
course,
I want
of
to
course.
start talking about Marco because Star versus the Forces of Evil is like one of my favorite shows. My kids were Star and Ludo for like multiple Halloweens in a row.
That's
They
amazing.
cosplayed as them.
I
It's
love that.
but that was like your breakout role. Can you talk about like working on that project and what it meant to you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. To this day, that is probably like my most meaningful, most special. I mean, obviously Jujutsu Kaisen is very special as well, but yeah, my time on Star was just amazing. It really was like it was I booked a project that was my dream since I was a kid. I'm like, I know this is what I'm meant to do. I know that this is what I'm meant to do. Like, maybe one day I'll be a lead on a series. One day I'll be a lead on a Disney show. And I just used to like think about that constantly and put it out there. And, when I started getting some really great opportunities voiceover wise and stuff like that, the audition process was really long for Star and everything. Um, but yeah, it's just such a unicorn of a project. My first series regular ever on any kind of show, and for it to be that one on Disney,
Yeah.
and just the kind of show that it was, in a lot of ways, it's kind of ahead of its time. And since then, I mean, I always say that Gravity Falls. I mean, Gravity Falls didn't really walk. Gravity Falls ran so Star could also run.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then, after that, we got shows like The Owl House and Amphibia and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And those shows also kind of followed this like narrative structure and path that, was kind of unique, but they have since kind of gone away from that. And I feel
Yeah.
like, I don't know, just such a unique thing. I'm really hopeful at some point we're gonna get more. I think we're in the age where like so much stuff is getting brought back, or like, oh, we did 4 seasons, but let's do a movie or something like that. I think that it's possible. So for everyone, watching this, or for you and your family, like keep the love and the hope alive for Star. Keep watching it here and there on Disney Plus so that those stream numbers can get up there. And yeah, I think there's a chance for more, I think.
Oh man, I would love that. We revisit it all the time. Like I said, it literally is like it's meant so much to our family. It's one of the first shows we watched all together. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
and
so cool.
so like and we have the book, the like book. Oh
Yep.
man, it's so good. My husband made the wands for the girls cosplay. Like
It's
it's
adorable.
so great. And then he was always Marco because he was like, this is so easy. I just need a red
Yeah,
hoodie. And
yeah.
I'm like, I'm
Marco
in.
is the perfect cosplay for any boyfriend, husband, significant other, friend that you want dressed up in cosplay. It's like, yeah, just throw on your hoodie and you're good. That the good old red hoodie.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's so obvious too. And you're like, oh, that's Marco. Like it's not even a question about it.
I,
Uh,
I have people come up to my table all the time still when I'm at conventions and stuff like that, and they're like, "Do you know who I am?" And I'm like, "Of course I know who you are. You're Marco Diaz." And they're like, "I've had this red hoodie forever."
oh, I love it so much. How would you say that your, role on that really shaped you as a voice actor?
I mean, I would say that it definitely made a big impact. What was cool about it, and I had the self-awareness of this many times, where I would just be sitting there thinking about how lucky am I to get to work on this series, especially when you look at who all the guest stars were, who the other main cast was. Like it
Mhm.
was stacked. It was basically like all celebrities and then me. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like even the other like voice actor, like people who may have made a career in voice acting who are on there. It's like Grey Delisle, who's like in everything, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's like these kind of iconic voice actors. So the fact that I even got a shot at a role like Marco is just, I mean, yeah, I was constantly pinching myself through all 4 of those years, but it totally made me level up. I got to know how everything worked,
Mhm.
through a company like Disney, which is
Yeah.
that's what else is there? I mean, um, so that I kind of cut my teeth on that, and then not only just like from the performing and the acting side of it, but there was like the whole PR side of it. Like how do they want actors acting outside of the booth when you're talking
Yeah.
about the show? and I feel like it really PR trained me
Hmm.
in a good way. Not like I mean I'm still myself. It's not like I'm putting
Right.
on
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah an air of like I don't know like a facade or something like that when I'm talking about these things, but just like makes you think about other things you wouldn't normally think about because otherwise you're like I'm just an actor, like I'm just the voice, I could say whatever I want, but no, you got to think about it in terms of like a business and all that stuff. And I think that part of it was cool. Um, yeah, just like working with the creatives behind it. Not only like Darren who created the show, she's amazing. But Dominic, one of the EPs, Giancarlo was in there, Giancarlo Volpe, and then our creative exec Doug, who was like the Disney TV animation creative exec over the series. Just like how it all worked. I got to sit in on the writers' room.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, which was cool, and watch the crew like break a story and pitch their story ideas and stuff. So that was really cool.
Wow.
I'm trying to think what else. I'm glad you're asking me about this. I do like
Yeah.
to think about this kind of often because I don't want to forget, you forget
Yeah.
things like this. Um, what else? I mean, it was the first time that I got to live with a character for as long as I did. And I
Hmm.
think that is always an interesting thing as an actor because if you go back to any show early days, the character is not who they started as.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
might not even sound exactly the same as where they end up, when you kind of like lock it in. So that was cool to go through that process. And then, I feel like the writers didn't really hold back as far as like emotional tones with Star. Like we got a lot of fun, funny, crazy Star and Marco shenanigans, but then we also got a lot of heart too. And so,
Hmm.
um, yeah, it was really fun to sort of bring that aspect to life. And if I'm looking at the things that I'm doing now in Jujutsu Kaisen, um, it is that amplified in terms of like the range and the spectrum that you get to see with the characters like Yuji. And so I do think that
Yeah.
I am able to access those things and feel comfortable kind of taking it where that story goes because I got to do so much with Marco. So yeah, it really laid a great foundation, I think, for all the things I've gotten to do since then.
I do want to talk about the pivot because really, like, this was like a Western show, and then you pivoted to doing a lot of anime and a
Yeah.
lot of English dubbing. So, like, what was that pivot like for you?
Well, previous to anime, I had done actually a decent amount of dubbing, mostly for like live action stuff, which is
Yeah.
it's different, but it's sort of the same technically. Um, but yeah, basically, Star was ending in 2019, and I was like, "What am I gonna do with my life? Will I ever work again?" Um, all the existential crises that actors go through when a job is coming to a close, especially one that has lasted so long. I mean, Star didn't air until 2015, but I was working on it since the end of 2013. So really, it
Oh,
was like
wow.
6 years of my life that I was working on that show. Um, but I was kind of just like, all right, you know what? What do I want to do? Let me look at what I've accomplished and what I've done in my career. And at that point, I had been, a lead on a Disney series, and by then I was also the voice of Disney XD, so a
Yeah,
voice
right.
of a network. And I had worked in, video games and other things, and I'm like, all right, what do I want to do? Like, what seems fun to me? And I was watching My Hero Academia
Hmm.
at the time, and I was like, man, these actors are crushing it. Like, they sound so good. So I basically just was like, oh, I wonder what it would be like to do anime. And I asked my agency here in LA, and they were like, oh, we don't really do that. But let me look into it. And they looked into it. And then my agent Sam at CESD ended up getting me a couple auditions. The first of which was for My Hero Academia, which I didn't book anything in that round. I got something
Hmm.
later on
Yeah, yeah.
based on that audition. And then my second audition ever was for Jujutsu Kaisen
That
with
was
the
your
studio.
second one.
Yeah,
Wow.
with a studio based here in LA that I had done a couple of jobs for, but not I didn't work there significantly, and I never worked with them on any anime. But I think part of it was just timing. During this was all during COVID, so start ended in May of 2019. By the time we got around to starting to audition, COVID kind of hit really early in 2020, and then they just needed actors who had home setups who could keep the ball rolling while everyone else in the world played catch up. And I had a home studio based on the fact that I had been doing the Disney XD voice stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I was already ready to go. And I think that paired with it being a studio that I had worked with before, but they didn't know I wanted to do anime. So then them finding out I was down to do anime and all this stuff sort of made it happen. And next thing you know, here we are. We just had our like 5-year anniversary of Jujutsu Kaisen,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, as huge as Star was, and I still think, I mean, Star was a massive success and wildly popular for Disney, and I still see fans for that show. Um, I don't think me or my agent or anyone could have expected how big JJK has gotten. So
Yeah.
it's been crazy.
And it's another character you've gotten to live with for a while, which must be
Really.
really cool to kind of like go on the arc with them.
It's super cool. Yeah, it's really cool. It's unique in that, like, with Star, I was finding out information as the scripts were getting sent to me. Excuse me, for like me to go in and record them. Whereas Jujutsu Kaisen, because it's based on the manga, I get to go and read and see like, all right, what's in store for Yuji? Where do I need to be? Like all that stuff has been really cool. So yeah, I think about often my career in general, and I might not have like the grass is always greener for actors, and it's something that we all fight against. And for me personally, it's like be grateful for what you have, be grateful for what you have. Some person might have 1,000 credits and they never have booked a lead, and some people might have
Mhm.
3 leads and that's all they've ever booked. And everyone's career is different, and I think I'm constantly telling myself and reminding myself how amazingly fortunate I am to be able to and have been able to work how I've worked. Um, I'm just having the time of my life. I really am. There's days where I'm like, oh, I got to drive to Burbank during traffic. That's like, for as far as career wise in work, like that's the tough thought of the day.
Right. Listen, traffic is no joke here.
Traffic is no joke here. Yeah, I understand. That's why there is that moment, those moments of, but and I did grind for a really long time to get to this place of like, um, I don't want to call it comfort because I'm not necessarily like comfortable, but just this place of just like where I look around and I'm like, this is awesome. Like this,
Yeah.
what I built is awesome. You
Yeah.
know, yeah,
It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. I'd say it's pretty cool.
yeah.
So you talked about reading ahead in the mangas. Like, how far do you read ahead? Because I always wonder, like, how much do you guys know? Because I know some people don't want to know anything. Some just watch ahead to. Although now a lot of dubbing is pretty at the same time-ish, isn't it? It's like pretty
It's
close.
Yeah, they're narrowing that gap, which is really nice. I will say the JJK cast is on their game. Everyone
Yeah.
everyone reads the manga, everyone is up to date. We care a lot about the show. We know what we have in our hands. I think it took a few episodes in the beginning for us to realize like, wait a second, okay, this is what this is. And then we locked in by like episode 3 and 4. The director knew the tone.
Mhm.
A lot of it changed after those first few episodes, and part of that is because we were like, all right, we got to read this. We got to make sure we know what's going on. And so most of my castmates, at least like the main cast, are all caught up. KG, who's Gojo, Robbie, who's
Mhm.
Megami, and Ray, and then a bunch of the other actors, Allegra and Lex and Matthew David Rudd. Everyone's reading the manga just because we know it's important. So
Do you guys like text each other like, holy cow, you see what we have to do next, in the
listen,
future?
you didn't hear this from me, but on when those manga leaks used to come out on Twitter,
Oh yeah.
that was like an event for the JJK cast. Like group chat was popping off. And I don't condone any illegal use of spoiler, illegal releases and stuff like that. Please find your
Yeah.
material through legal channels. But dang, that was fun. That was a really good time for us.
I love it. You're like, oh my God. I mean, I feel like that's like gonna be really cool because so like for example, we watch MHA as a family, right? We watch My Hero Academia, but we haven't read up to it yet because it's like I want to see it. But
Yeah.
and it's so hard to avoid it though. Like so many people are like, did you see how the manga ends? I'm like, no, I don't want to know. We're so close. Give me like another couple weeks, you know?
Yes. Yeah, it's we it's really hard. It's really hard, but I think for JJK, at least for us, it's important for us to know because it is such like an
Yeah.
important project, I think. But with that said, I understand, I'll meet people and I'll be like, are you all caught up? Like, have you seen season two? They're like, no, we're waiting for it to be fully out so we can binge it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. And JJK is one of those where the anime adaptation is so incredible. Mappa is doing just an amazing job across the board with the animation, um, the production design, like everything is so cool that I do think if you're like, all right, we don't want to read it, we want to wait. Like if a fan's telling me that, I'll be like, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. I think if I was a fan and not in it, I would probably do the same thing. I'd be like, I'm just gonna wait because it just looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like to be honest with you, I'm not really into anime recap movies, like when they
Mhm.
release something I've already seen in the theaters. And I'm not just saying this because I'm in it. I do not get anything the more people go see Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't get anything out of it. Um I could not be more excited to see the fights from the Shibuya incident on the big screen.
uh
I just think it's gonna be so cool. Like the Shibuya arc was so incredible, and yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty epic.
I was gonna ask you like about seeing it on the big screen. So you not had like a screening for cast? Have you not been able to see it on the oh
No,
man.
not yet. No, and G Kids is not having a screening for the cast.
Okay.
So it's just like up to us to go see it, I guess. So we're trying to figure it out. I leave town. I'm gonna get at a convention, um, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm not coming back to LA. I'm gonna be in Nashville for a week before I fly to Oklahoma for my last con for the year. So
Hmm.
I won't be around the cast other than this weekend, while it's still in theaters. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. Maybe my brother, my 14-year-old nephew, maybe we'll go see it, but
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, I gotta figure it out.
Yeah, my daughter, she's 14. She's dying. So she read like one or two of the mangas, I think, and then knew it was
Okay.
coming out. And
Yeah.
she's like, we have to watch this. Like, and she's like lore dumping all this stuff on me and talking about like eating fingers and stuff. And I was like, what are you telling me to watch? Like,
Yeah.
what is this gonna be? I don't know that I'm into this. This
That's
sounds
amazing.
crazy.
That's amazing. Yeah. I have you since watched or not yet?
Yes, yes. And
Okay.
then I was like, okay. But the way she's like throwing stuff at
Describing
me,
it.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I've posted a few videos of like a real literal translation of what the Jujutsu Kaisen plot is about on my
Yeah.
like TikTok and Instagram and like little comedy videos, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, this is the plot. How weird when you say it like that." And it's just funny.
Yeah, but it is like it's another one that me and her watched together, and then my youngest and my husband haven't watched it yet, but there's so much. We have Crunchyroll and we sit and we're like, okay, what are we gonna watch, who's gonna watch what
There's a
when
lot.
this person's home.
Yes,
But JJK was one. She was like, mom, please watch this with me when it
that's
comes
cool.
out, and I was like,
I
okay, I
love that you
will.
guys watch together. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's like one of our like that's what we love to do is like as a family. It's part of why I do this, right? Like I love movies and television and that bonding experience. It's like I grew up doing that with my parents, with my mom, with my dad. So it's like I like to bring that to my kids, you know?
That's cool. That's really
So it's
cool.
really, really fun. It's really, really fun. But was going to ask you, how excited are you for this to come to the big screen? You touched on it a little bit, but like, how
Yeah,
exciting is that to know
it's
it's
super
going to be on the
exciting.
big screen?
Yeah, it's super exciting. Well, I mean, this is the third JJK movie and the first one that Yuji's gonna be in. So it's like
Right?
it's Yuji's debut on the big screen, which I think is really cool. Yeah, obviously we had JJK Zero. I used to joke around and say that they needed a Juju stroll at the end of that one, where it's just Yuji, Megami, and Dobara walking into the movie theater. Like, what do you mean we're not in the movie? I think that would have been hilarious.
That would have been funny.
And then of course we had hidden inventory. So finally Yuji's getting his moment on the big screen, and what better
Mhm.
way to do it than the chaos and the heartbreak of the Shibuya incident, which leads us right into season three. Those first couple episodes, which are going to be really cool. So yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
excited about it.
I mean, what does it mean to you to know that like anime in general? I mean, like we just had like the Demon Slayer stuff on the big screen, and now this, like that there's such a fandom that you can put it in theaters and people come and see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing. It feels like at some point we'll all look back and be like, dang, that was the golden age of anime,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
that was the time, Um, yeah, I just think it's so neat. I think it's validating for a lot of people who have been saying how cool anime is for a really long time, and I think
Hmm.
that's nice that those people finally have a chance to be like, "See, I told you." Um, and then, just for me, it's cool, like timing wise, because, as popular of a show as Jujutsu Kaisen or as Star versus the Forces of Evil was, I, in the wild, constantly have people coming up and being like, "Are you Yuji from Jujutsu Kaisen?" Which that barely happened ever with Star.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, like, every store I go in, like even the dollar store, there's like some knockoff JJK, like
Yeah.
little like pencils or something like that. Um, so it's just gotten so widespread. It's just so cool. And yeah, I mean, as somebody who got into all of this just because I love it so much, it's
Yeah.
really neat to see it all. And yeah, I mean, the kid in me who used to set up his room like a toy store when he would go to the toy store and buy a toy, I would keep things in boxes. I mean, you could see my
Yeah.
room, my office is still kind of like that. It's just so cool, like I'm buying merch for characters that I voice, and I think that's so
Yeah.
fun.
And there's like a lot of it.
There's too much of it.
I
There's
feel,
too much.
listen, I have a collection problem, clearly. So
I
I
know, I
feel
love it. I'm like, I like how you have it kind of cinematic, so it's a little bit blurry, but I'm also like, zoom in,
I
look
know.
at.
Oh my God, there's so much. It's like, I have a problem. It's an expensive habit, but
Yeah,
it's a fun one.
it
I will
is.
say it is a fun one.
It sparks joy, as they say.
Exactly, exactly. I do want to talk to you too about Megan the Stallion. Like, what can you tell me first of all what your reaction was to this? Because that's
Like
insane.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically my reaction. Okay, so here's the thing about me is like a lot of times, like when I do stuff, I'm thinking a few steps ahead, and so when I made the very first video, so the second video I made that talked about Megan the Stallion was the one that ended up getting used in her song, but the very first, wait, sorry, one second. Yeah, the very first video I did was basically me just listening to fans online and being like, you know, people were like, "Oh, Jennifer Lawrence is great, but like, could we pick somebody taller, maybe with a, more big ass? I don't know." But that's basically the consensus of the fandom, and I was like, "All right, like I could work with this." So, I posted that first video, and it did really well. And this is before I was even really posting that much on TikTok and stuff like that. Um, but I was like, I'm gonna make another one, and I just bet you, this is me in 2021. I'm like, if I was Megan the Stallion, this would be introing a song that I made. Like this, I would
You
put
thought
this
that?
in a song in a heartbeat. Yes, because I'm like, how cool would that be if she uses this in a song, or has me introduce her on stage or something like that. This is what I was thinking. I was like, I'm gonna make another one, and then that's the one I made. And so, what was it, 3 years later or something like that? I was
Yeah.
sitting playing video games. I'm just at home, not doing anything. And I look over and my phone's blowing up. And I'm like, what the heck? Why is my phone blowing up? Why are my Twitter notifications going off? Actually, I don't even have my notifications on for Twitter. It was my text. My texts were blowing up. And I was like, what is everyone talking about? And I log on Twitter and I see like 99 plus on the notifications things.
Yeah.
And Twitter is like, I don't really post on Twitter that much. There's not there. I don't get a ton of action on there. Everyone, congratulations, Ninja Mac, congratulations. Oh my God, is that Ninja Mac on the Megan the Stallion album? And I'm like, oh my God, I manifested it. This is happening. And so yeah, long story short, behind the scenes, the audio from that TikTok was licensed. They pulled it from the TikTok and put it in the song, and that was it. So I didn't know. I didn't know it
That's
was
you didn't
happening
even
until
know
it
till it
happened.
was that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so it's that's kind of more fun though to
It
find out
was
that way.
it was fun, except it sparked like a wait, what? And then I had to like check in with everybody. I'm like, all right, who okayed this? Like, what can I talk about it? And I couldn't talk about it for a while, and it was this whole thing. Um, but yeah, it was so cool. It was so cool.
That's so fun. And then real quick though, before we wrap too, I want to talk to you about Homestuck a little bit because I'm super excited. Like I love VivziePop anyway, and then when she posted the trailer, I was like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, so what can you tell me about this?
Okay, well, this was another rabid fan base that I was just thrown into. The Homestuck fan base is huge. It's a cult classic amongst the internet generation of the mid-teen 2000s. Um, for me, when I first saw the pilot episode, I was like, this is like a VivziePop spin on Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
And obviously Andrew Hussey created it. So a Vivzie and Andrew and then Sky who directed it. It's their like amalgamation of that kind of style mixed with Scott Pilgrim. And I am so excited about it. I am so excited about it. The pilot, um, as fast as it moves, I think was a really great kind of like proof of concept that there's something here that
Hmm.
could be really awesome. And yeah, I'm hopeful that we'll be doing some more of it soon. And yeah, fingers crossed. But if you have not seen the Homestuck pilot and you're watching this, it's on YouTube.
So good.
Yeah, you can search the Homestuck pilot. Be prepared if you have no context for Homestuck to leave being like, all right, I'm exhausted. What the heck did I just watch?
That's
But
fair.
yeah, don't try to feel like you're supposed to know everything. There's a lot of things that you would know if you read it, read the web comic. But trust that it's a proof of concept and we'll get a more fleshed out story, probably still at a breakneck pace, but we'll get a more fleshed out story once we can start, making some more episodes. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited for Homestuck.
Amazing. I mean, congratulations on everything. You've done
Thank
some
you.
pretty awesome stuff.
I appreciate
So
that. It means a lot. Yeah, thank you
yeah,
so
it's
much.
very cool. And like I said, Marco Star, that's our so like if we could get more of that, oh my gosh. I need to continue to spread the word. I tell everybody, anybody I talk to, and I'm like, have you not seen Star versus the Force of Evil? Watch it. Because like we have the book in our house on our bookshelf, and people are like, what is this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? You haven't seen it?
Just keep recruiting people. It's
I
helpful. It's
will.
good. It's good.
Listen, I need to know. I need to catch up. Actually, where would you like to see before we wrap? I want to know what would you like to see for Marco? Like, where would you like him to be right now after everything? What is your thought?
Okay. Where would I like to see for Marco? Okay, so are you asking me like what I think would be awesome for the movie? Like what I like
Yeah, you get that, or just like what do you want for him as a character? You lived with him for so long. What would you hope
yeah.
his life is like? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if we're asking like sentimentality wise, or like from a sentimental perspective, like I just want him to be happy, him and Star to be
Oh.
together and like, doing awesome things. But if I had my way, well, okay, dang, I could go on and on about this. I do think
I
it would
love
be
it.
fun to see a little bit of a time skip,
Yeah.
and maybe when we come back to them, we come back to them when they're realizing that when the dimensions collided in typical Star and Marco fashion, something went wrong and I don't know, maybe magic's not gone, maybe, something like that I think would be really fun.
Yeah.
And yes. And I know some things because I've talked to Darren about this, so I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Listen, I need this to happen.
Yeah.
I will die. Like I said, we are huge fans. And then of course now my daughter and I are watching JJK and it's just so cool. But when the realization hit us that like you were Marco, we were like, what? That's crazy. Because like it's
Awesome.
very different characters, obviously.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's very
totally. But
cool.
but you know what? At the same time, they're both good boys. They both care a lot about their friends. They do have a lot of things in common, and it's funny because a lot of the characters I voice do. It's kind of like
Yeah.
this running gag amongst my peers that if there's a good boy in the show, that I'll get to voice the good boy, which is cool. And you know what? I'm so happy with that. So yeah,
Could be
it's cool.
worse.
It could be worse. It could definitely be worse.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. This was
Of
great.
course. Yeah, lovely chatting with you. And
Yes, you as well.
come bring your daughter and come say hi at a con at some point.
Ah, I will for sure.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good
You're
one.
welcome. You too. See ya.